We can
Hi, Bill.
start. Uh, the only thing that I had for anything for septic is I did inspect 14 um, 14 cedar, and I did the final on that one, and I saw Peter Labarra sent in the request for COC, and it was installed. He when he sent the as built, he had forgotten to put the ties to the tank and the pump chamber, but he submitted a new one with those. So it was installed as designed, and its pump and everything worked. So I'm fine with it. Do we want to sign off on the COC?
Sure.
Yep, I'm recused on this, and of course, Dick,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Colleen, Lee and I did, so you can sign off on that one.
Okay, great.
Next one I have is the meeting minutes for, I'm going to struggle a little bit because normally when Bill and Lee, normally when I go into the meetings, I have everything copied so I can see, but I don't have any means to copy anything. So when I make mistakes on what my hand scratching looks like, if you correct me, I'd appreciate it. Uh, Meeting minutes for the 28th of May and the 6th of June. Are we okay? Bill, you weren't at that one. The 28th of May was at Dollar General. Let's do them separately. Lee, are you okay with those minutes?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And I am too. And Bill, are you going to just not vote on that since you weren't here?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, because I went an hour after you guys were there. I was there myself, so I did my own observation. So that's
Right.
fine. No worries. No
Okay,
worries.
Colleen, so that was approved with Bill abstaining.
Okay,
How about for the 4th of June? I was okay with that. Lee and Bill,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Dick.
Good.
okay, Colleen, we all approved that.
okay,
Next thing I have is Colleen's time sheet, and that's for the normal 70 hours. Are we okay with that?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah,
And I-
that's fine.
okay,
Money turnover is a total of $1,230. 260 of it was our permit, 760 is for licenses, 100 for fees, and 110 for gas permits, totaling the 1230. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
I am too, Colleen, so that's approved by all three
Okay.
of us. On
okay,
bills payable, it's the invoice from Quill for the requisitions that we approved prior, $248.93 for the office supplies. Are we okay for that bill to be paid?
Yes.
That's fine.
I am too, Colleen, so that's approved.
okay.
Next one, go ahead. Were you saying something, Colleen?
No, I just said, okay,
Okay. The next one is the 2024 McDuffie Recreational Summer Day Camp License. There was a problem with it, is that inadvertently through the change and building inspectors, McDuffie's occupancy permit for last year hadn't been issued, but it's all straightened out. It was issued. So this is a straightforward uh, application for this year's summer camp. Are we set with that? I
Yeah,
am.
I think we're fine. Yep.
So,
I'm also recused on this one as well, Dick. Thank you.
okay. Then Lee and I both approved it, Colleen, and Bill abstained.
okay,
Uh, Next one is the 2024 mobile food permit for the Thai place at Winehouse. Uh, they obviously have their own fixed base of operations. Are we all set with that one?
Yeah. My only comment on that facility is that we were due a design June 1. And unless I'm in the dark, that has yet to appear.
As long as Colleen, as long as we're just touching on that. Bill and Lee, what do you think you think we should get Colleen to get in touch with Jim Tromke and ask him that for his proposal?
That was the last comment I had heard from that operation, is that June 1 it would be here.
With his timetable, I think it's reasonable to ask that. Bill, I'm not hearing anything from you.
No, from our last meeting, Dick, I thought Tromke was supposed to come to this meeting tonight.
Well, he came to the last, or one of the, maybe the one before this, but he said, gee, I was surprised because I wasn't expecting to be present. You're right, to the, I think this meeting. But sounds like one way or the other, we ought to be talking to Mr. Tromke and say, where is your proposal?
Right, right. And by the way, did Lynn make herself available to inspect that last minute request a couple of weeks ago at the Wine
Yes.
House? Oh,
Yes.
she did.
Yep,
Okay,
as far as I know, because I sent it to her. Yep, she said, okay, and yes.
good, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Again, she did us a big favor by accommodating her. Again, I think it's bad protocol for us to push her on these last minute things. It's not nice to do.
My general feeling is that Bill's right on, that having these people get to us and expect us to do what really is impossible, because especially in this case, where the guy didn't even bother after you requested it and reached out, Colleen, when you shouldn't have done that he still didn't do it. And then demanded that Lynn respond. But
Yeah, they came into the office that next morning and they said, well, we're busy, this and that. And I said, but I had everything but the check. You just needed to, you could have mailed it. You had all kinds of, you could have sent it in the mail. So, but yeah.
okay.
So
But he
check
brought
with Jim on,
he brought the
check-
check that morning, right?
yes.
Okay, good.
Check with Jim on the restroom proposal
Yeah.
for that. Okay, so, but otherwise, this mobile food permit for the Thai place is
Yeah,
okay?
we didn't vote on that. Are we okay? I'm okay with this.
That's fine.
Lee?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I'm good, thank you.
All
The
right,
next is a one-day temporary food license for the Friends of the Granby Veterans at the Immaculate Heart of Mary for a spaghetti supper on 6/29. Are we okay with that?
I am, yes.
Yeah, Dick, I gotta recuse again because that's a client of mine.
Which one? The church or
Oh, the church, the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I also approve, Colleen.
okay,
The next one is for the new owners of Brusco Liquor. There's three of them for the 2024. It's actually change of ownership so that they're new permits. First one is retail food. Second one is selling milk and cream, and the third is tobacco. So they're the same permits as Brusco had. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
I'm just curious, Dick, tongue in cheek, the new owner is not the old owner of Union Mart, is it?
What
No.
about that? It's not.
No.
Colleen, it's not.
no,
Okay, good, good.
no.
Because I saw that too, and I said, oh boy, I wonder if they just moved across
Yeah.
the street.
I know.
This fellow, I think Russo's has 4 stores, and this fellow bought them all, and he seems to really know what he's doing.
Good, good. Good.
impression I got, anyway.
So
Good.
Bill, you didn't vote on that one. I voted that that's okay. And how about you, Bill?
Yeah, that's fine. Russo was fine.
Okay,
Okay.
Next ones are Title Fives. And then I had some issues with some of them. The first one is 51 Kendall Street. That was the one with Greg Everson, continuing to say that this was a path when it hasn't been occupied for some 2 years. And not saying needs further investigation after it's been occupied. I don't know what we do. Do we just not accept this?
Well, is there a pending property transfer on this?
I don't know.
I believe that's why we're doing this. I don't have the data to back that statement up, but
Okay.
99% sure the reason for the Title V was to market the property.
The answer to this is to, in this case, send the letter to the owner and the real estate agent saying we've got a past Title V. However, the board requires a reinspection of the SAS. 60, what is it? 3 to
Is
6
it?
months.
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 6 months out after occupancy.
After occupancy. So we could send that out and send it to Greg as well. You think that's a
Okay.
good way to handle it?
Yeah.
Lee?
Absolutely.
Okay, Colleen, that's what we'll do.
okay.
The next one is 11, 111. Munting Ridge. Do I have the right number? Did I copy it down, Colleen? correctly?
111, yes.
111
Yes,
Munting
111.
Ridge. That one was Dave Kibbe and it was a path. It looks like it was a 1,500 gallon tank and 4-foot separation. Are we okay with that one?
Yeah, he's fine on that one. He just
Yeah.
pumped it out. All the components were good.
Yeah. Lee, is 111 on the left or on the right driving down Munsing Ridge?
Left-hand side.
Oh, it is it's on the low side. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The next one is, I'm actually gonna skip 53 quarters. And, okay, we'll talk about 53 Porter, which was done by Peretti, and also 34 South Street, both done by Peretti, clean septic. And the 53 Porter, he, as I read it, instead of saying this is a filled system and tell us how far the bottom of the SAS is above the water table, all he's put down is this is a 22-inch water table, and 34th South Street is exactly the same thing, only he says it's a 32-inch water table. And in both of those cases, I believe they're filled systems, and they're both beyond our 3-foot, that we're going to be in a position that we have to send out a letter to the homeowner saying they have to change the SAS. What do we do with these things? Colleen got in touch with Clean Septic, and she told them if they don't send something in saying please disregard, we're going to be forced to do this. But
Well, how many inches separation? I know 53 Porter pretty well. They've had some wetland issues. Their neighbors had some wetland issues. Real high water table, as evidenced by that number. How from the bottom of the leach to the water table, how many inches do we have?
he doesn't tell us.
What do you think?
Tell us.
As you stand on the property, the front yard, looking towards the back,
Yeah.
there's probably a 4 4 or 5 odd foot drop. And at the base of the drop in the backyard, there's a swimming pool in ground.
Okay, that's the house that had the brand new pool put in by Giuliano Pool 2 years ago. Okay, I know that property. Yes. And the wetlands are right behind the house. Probably 50 feet behind the house is wetlands.
Probably 100 feet from the edge of the septic system.
Oh, yeah.
The septic system's in the front of the house, I believe.
Yeah,
But
that's correct. On both of those homes. Yes, yes.
so do we just accept the 23 foot, a 22-inch water table and it's 32 inch and just say we don't care, or does this the same thing that Toretti did on on Lakeview? 'Cause he doesn't tell you the separation, and then
I have no idea.
we end up giving these people a lot of trouble and cause them a lot of worry, and it's because Toretti's not doing his job.
Well, did they dig a deep hole during the Title V?
No. No. They just, when I was there, they were judging the depth to the backyard in-ground pool, and maybe that in-ground pool is in water too. But that being said, you're probably at least 4 odd feet above the slope to the rear of the property.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Easily.
thinking those homes aren't that old. Those homes were built, Dick, around 2000.
No
Yeah,
issue,
maybe.
Bill, if we do the work. The problem is the Board of Health now gonna do the Title V inspection
No,
and
no.
say,
Tell Toretti to look at I'm sure he got the data off the plan set. Tell him to look at his plan set, do the calculations, and tell me how many inches from the bottom of the leach to the water table. And I'm expecting it to be 4 feet.
Yeah,
but
maybe more.
our issue, I think what should happen is that we do what Bill is saying we wanna know what the distance is from the bottom of the SAS to the water table, but that we send the homeowner as well as a Toretti letter saying, we think this Title V does not describe the distance between the bottom of the SAS and the water tables correctly, and we're not accepting it at this point. Otherwise, according to the rules, Lee and Bill,
We're doing the engineering for these guys. Let them do their own engineering.
So
Yeah.
do you think the homeowner ought to know that he doesn't have, and the real estate agent ought to know that this is an improper Title V so that they can't use it with the bank? And I just hate to be telling the homeowner something that we're doing because Toretti's not filling out forms right and causing the homeowner a whole bunch of pain.
Colleen, did they attach the septic design to the Title V report?
I sent whatever I sent it. to
We
you
don't
guys.
have it.
Yeah, no, just whatever.
Well, Nick's got to get that report and he's got to go through the numbers and subtract a couple of numbers and hopefully he'll come up with the 48-inch plus and then everything will be good. But like you say, we're playing the guessing game now.
So I think we should send the note and we shouldn't accept this. Because if we accept it, then we're gonna have to send a letter to the homeowner saying they have to replace this. And that's a terrible thing to do when we think that's not true.
Yeah, that'll be awful for them. From what I'm hearing, septic prices have really gone through the roof again.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So the next one is 35. So Colleen, we didn't accept 53 Porter or 34 South.
Okay, so send the homeowner and Clean Septics. a
And the
letter
real
telling
estate, and the real estate agent.
And the real estate.
We didn't accept the Title V as being, and because it's incomplete for water table separation.
Okay,
The next one is 35 Kendall. That one is a 4-foot separation on a 1,500 gallon tank. It looked like that was okay. Lee, are we okay with that one?
Yes.
Final one is 7 Lynn Drive, and that was a conditional pass. It says that a new septic tank and a new D-box. It's interesting when you read that one. It's it's got a conditional pass. Looks like I I didn't see anything that says the SAS is okay, but they said that the water in the septic tank was 30 inches deep, below the outlet. So who knows what the SAS is? However, uh, I did note that instead of the guy that inspected it looks like Robert Norman, I think.
Yeah, he works for Neil Jackson, apparently.
Huh.
That's correct.
Well, it's very interesting. Instead of him being an inspector saying the tank's no good and the D-box is no good, he says that Lee made him say it was no good.
I saw
both
that.
of them.
I saw they quoted you twice there, Lee. You ought to be getting royalties on this.
Instead of just angry phone calls from the homeowner.
Now, Dick,
Yeah.
the leach field it's a leach pit, right? A deep leaching pit.
No, it's a bed. It's
Oh.
a bed with 5 lines. It's a smother. It's like 25 by 25
Oh.
with 5 lines.
I mean, obviously, when they took the covers off of the tank, even though the house was active in use, it was way down, maybe down to the seam. I don't know what type of tank it was, but it was leaking badly. So there's just no way to go forward with this thing. To my knowledge, no one has pulled any permits or done any work on that piece of property since that evening visual inspection. I have no idea what they're doing with that.
It says it's a conditional pass with the requirement of the replacement of the D-box and the tank. So I guess that's what's probably correct. Is that truly?
Well, yeah, but depending how far you want to look at the other side of the center line, I don't know how to determine when the last time that bed received any flow.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I mean, that
Yeah.
thing it was way down for anyone's guess at how long it's been leaking that badly.
And this
It may
one,
be okay.
yeah. In
Lee,
this
how
one,
old is
so-
this Robert Norman? Is he a younger fellow or an older fellow?
I'd say he's, if I had to guess, 50-ish.
Yeah.
So
we're
he's
gonna
an
say
he's an
55, 50.
so he's an employee of Neil Jackson's company.
That's correct.
And does he have a SI license?
I would not think so, but I do not know. I think not.
The last time I talked to him, he said that he told me that he had a license to do Title V.
So he's got an SI license then. Okay.
That's what he told me. That doesn't mean he has one.
Well, you can look that up easy enough.
So I've
Yeah.
seen his name on the list.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I have,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But that is Lee, you do bring up an issue. If we say that the SAS has to be inspected on a house that hasn't been used for 9 months, I mean, for 90 days, why shouldn't we be saying this one's got to be inspected once the system is being used properly?
Well, it raises the question for sure. It was a substantial drop in water level.
How do you know? When do you is there anyone living in the house, or has there anyone been living in the house over the last week or two?
Continually.
Oh, so the house has been occupied.
It's just there's no water that ever make it. Was there any water in the distribution box, Lee?
You shouldn't tell that because it was in such a state of disrepair, it wouldn't hold water.
So you're right, Dick. The septic tank is acting like a leach pit.
Yeah, it's like a cesspool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so, I mean,
so how
we're
can you
guessing that-
possibly say? Yeah. Go ahead, Lee.
So we got to invoke the 3 to 6 month criterion. So after they replace the D box on the septic tank, then we got to monitor the leach pit or the bed for the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I think so.
Same thing with the new owner. Property transfer, correctly?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a smart thing to do.
So Colleen, we should send the inspector, the real estate agent, and the owner saying that we did accept the conditional pass. However, besides replacing the tank and the distribution box, the SAS must be inspected 3 to 6 months after occupancy and the replacement of the 2 tanks.
Okay.
Next one. I'll do it out of order. I had a call from the dog officer. That's Kim. What did you, Goldsmith? Is that?
Goldsmith, yeah, Bernie or
Goldsmith.
Goldsmith.
And she is the dog officer right now. And she had a dog bite and a dog that's bit, let's say it's a half a dozen times, bit people. Not a good dog. And she wanted the thing quarantined, and she had trouble. She talked to Tom a couple times and not able to get the quarantine done. And her suggestion, and she's come to the board, at least come to me a couple times. In fact, she was interested in becoming the animal inspector, but Con Bob said he wanted to keep it, and what Tim has said is because he's the dog officer, he's tangled up with this dog bite and other dog bites, and not getting this to be handled right with Tom. Now, Tom lives a fair distance away. What Tim has suggested is that she would be happy to be appointed as the assistant animal inspector and just deal with dogs and dog bites in town and quarantines. And as it turns out, there's no salary involved here. All it is based on the $35 inspection. You know, whether Tom does it or she does it, it's the same price. So from our part, it doesn't mean anything. But it looks like this is a problem that needs to be dealt with either through Tom or by doing this with Tim. What are Bill and Lee? What are you thinking about? What's your thought?
Well, devil's advocate time. If the animal is quarantined, is it in their kennel? And if so, is there a nightly fee for that? And if so, it's a conflict of interest. But I don't know how this quarantine thing works with this scenario.
But it would seem to me that we could deal with the conflict separately. It doesn't have to be in Kim's place. We can do just like Bill does, that when something in engineering involves Granby, he can't do it. And in this case, if it involves a quarantine, then that we have to deal with the conflict.
Sure.
But
I'm just thinking,
it
I'm just
doesn't
thinking
mean
out
by
loud.
appointing her that it's a conflict, Lee. It just means that we have to, if we do it, say, you just can't be doing this in a way that you're saying, hey, I'm making 25 bucks a night by doing this.
That's exactly my point. I just want her and everyone else to not have a potential homeowner, dog owner, whatever you want to call them, come screaming in the future that we're setting her up in some type of business, which we're not.
Right.
So if she's quarantining and she sends them up to Cherry Hill Farm
Parker's Health or whatever it is, then
or down to the animal hospital on 202, whatever, perfectly fine. Unless she does it for free in her own place.
Now,
But
this dog that did the biting, Dick, do we know the owner?
I don't. But Tim told me that when she talked to Tom says, "Oh yeah, that's the dog that bit this person. I had trouble. I just couldn't get a hold of the owner." So the last time it sounds like it wasn't quarantined either.
So we don't know whether the dog had its shots or not. That's the bottom line,
I don't.
you know.
the owner should be able to provide that data, I would hope.
Yeah, I think the dog does, but I think there's a situation that is not necessarily the dog's fault of where he's living, and things go on, and then the dog is trying to be maybe protective and stuff. So finally, I think that the owner said, okay, the dog has bit enough people. We don't want the dog. Please take the dog. So this is a kind of a different situation than I think what normally happens. So yes, this dog I think has been removed, but not all dogs are always removed, I don't think, from their homes. But
So the dog, they took the dog to Dakin or equivalent?
well, I'm not sure where the dog is. I think Kim took the dog, and it may be at the dog pound or the dog kennel in town. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying I know there's a history with this dog.
What
Because
breed
it
is
has-
it? What is it, a shepherd or what breed is it?
bulldog. It's a mixed bulldog.
Oh, okay.
But the issue here is this is not the first time that the dog issues come up, and it's a kind of gets tangled up because Kim's got one job that involves dogs, and Tom's position crosses over. And I certainly could support letting Kim be the assistant animal inspector, not to be dealing with the farm animal inspection.
Yeah, I could follow that thought.
So
Right.
Kim would only be dealing with dog bites and dog bites only then?
Yeah,
Okay. And I'm guessing Tom would prefer not to do that anyway.
see that too. It's a pain in the neck, and
Yeah.
So-
we can do. We'll do that,
What
Colleen.
so would Kim be entitled to put in an invoice for,
Yeah, she'd be able to do the same $35 in an inspection or visit,
okay,
the same as Tom would do.
okay,
So it doesn't increase our cost at all. And the inspection would be to deal with animals other than barn inspection.
hmm
Is that what we're saying? So, and I think the barn inspections is something that Tom enjoys and does well, and he can group them together and do it on a trip that it's not a pain in the neck for him.
Yep.
That's
And
good.
then, okay, so the three of us are saying that, Charlie.
Okay.
The next item is 49 Barton Street. That's a complaint on a septic system failure. So we've got a Title V that said it's no good. Now we've got a complaint that the system has actually failed. The Title V said the system was in failure anyways. What do we do with this? Order that the system be replaced?
Is this the house that was transferred with cash, did not go through any bank funding, correct?
Correct.
So there was no Title V done at the time of transfer. I think Dave Kibbe has been there previously, if I'm
He
not
was,
mistaken.
he did it and you weren't there, Lee. But he said, oh, I
Right.
don't care because the system failed so badly anyway that it doesn't matter that the Board of Health wasn't there.
Right, right. I thought we reached out to this party at least on one occasion previously to rectify this scenario, but nothing came back.
Yeah, you sent a letter for him to do the Title V. So he did that, but that's it.
And then the neighbor, the neighbor issued a follow-up letter, Colleen, what, about 3 weeks ago?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I saw her in South Hadley a couple weeks ago and we chatted briefly. So, I think following up with this home is probably the thing to do.
Well, there's at least 2 locations in town active right now that fall into this same category. One Barton, one Ken Lane. Both are at this point not necessarily refusing, but not rushing to fix it either.
Right.
Currently, Ken Lane doesn't have anybody living there and the system's not being used.
I got a call from Alan Weiss. I think it was this week. He scheduled some work to be done and was told that they had a change of heart and we're not going to proceed.
Oh. Well, they're not going to proceed with the deep hole?
That's correct, according to Alan. It's not going to happen.
Oh.
So I'm just bringing that up because it sounds similar to the Barton Street, similar data set, similar mindset.
Okay.
My feeling is that they probably both deserve a letter, but different letters. My proposal would be that the Barton Street, that we tell them we've got records of a failed septic system, a failed Title V inspection of the septic system with failed components, and a complaint from a failed. Just that, help me. Does the neighbor say the sewage is at the surface?
No.
Now, what is the neighbor contending?
The neighbor contends that the property was transferred without a Title V.
Okay, so we know that's the case. Now, if it's not to the surface, a failed Title V inspection is what, 6 months? That they have to be fixed?
Well, the other problem, Dick, is this an interfamily transfer?
No, it wasn't. So it doesn't matter. We now know that it failed. We've got an inspection that says it's failed. So
All right.
nothing matters other than that. So, so they did in fact have the inspection. They could argue that they didn't want to have the inspection, but they did. And we've got a report that says the system's no good. And I think Title V says once you have the report of a failed septic system, you've got 6 months to fix it.
That's right.
So how long, Colleen, is it possible for you to find out when Dave Kiddy did that inspection so that
He-
we can, do you know?
Yeah, I better check. I have it. I want to say last fall.
So we could easily be beyond the 6 months.
Yeah. Hmm.
But before we order it, we should know that.
Well, I know it was at least last fall, if not further. So. But I'll check the Title V tomorrow.
We could do is send a letter, say that on this date, a Title V inspection was done on your property. And the Title V indicates that the system has failed. And as long as you look and it's over 6 months
Okay,
and say that the state sanitary code requires that a failed system be replaced within 6 months of the Title V inspection, of the failed Title V inspection. And as by this order, we are giving you 30 days, whatever that 30 days is from your letter, to submit a design for the replacement of the system that has been prepared by a registered sanitarian or engineer. Is that the letter we want to send, Bill and Lee?
Yes.
Bill?
I think that's fine.
Okay. The other letter I would suggest is on 1210 Lane. And I would write a letter to the effect that, dear such and such, on whatever day it is, the board ordered that you not reoccupy your dwelling at 1210 Lane until after a Title V inspection has been completed. Member of the board, recently, a member of the board was told by the sanitarian who was hired to perform that test that it was no longer your intent to complete the test, the Title V inspection. By this letter, the board is reminding you that you may not occupy this dwelling, that no one may occupy this dwelling until after that septic system evaluation has occurred. Is that, what do you think of that letter, Bill and Lee?
Colleen, I got a question. When did Al Weiss call you to call off the deep hole test?
He called Bill, he called Lee.
Lee.
Oh, he did. When did he call you, Lee?
I think it was Monday or Tuesday. He wanted me to go with him, and because of the relationship I have with both parties on that street, I'm still in conflict of interest. So he was going to reach out to, I think, Charlie Kanicki to accompany him as his witness.
Mhm.
But as he proceeded to become prepared, and I would like if Colleen can confirm this with Al Weiss, since it was a very quick, casual conversation, that my data is correct. But I know from Alan's conversation, he was not going to proceed. I just don't know the exact date. So if Colleen, if you wouldn't mind confirming when that was, that would make the letter accurate.
So
When
Lee,
he spoke to you, yeah, when he spoke to you about that,
Yes, please.
the date,
Lee,
yes. Okay.
Lee, did Alan tell you why the change in heart?
No, just he just said there was a change of mind. It may have been financial. I don't know. That being said, if it was in fact financial,
Yeah,
there may be, I don't know if there's any grant money or low interest, 0% interest floating around right now or not.
For
New Hampshire.
design or anything, Lee, all this was to dig a hole.
Yeah, well, and they got cold feet and backed out.
it's not my money, but how much does it cost to dig a hole and observe a hole?
I can have the whole thing total. I mean, the backhoe probably less than $400.
Yeah,
Then engineering and a witness, I don't know. So let's make pretend you're into the whole thing for less than 1,000.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on. But I thought
Make her do it, Lee. We
no,
can't
I
make
thought
her do
in
it.
conversations we were heading towards this to bring closure to this entire thing, along with the work that the highway department has done on the street and the drainage. And Dick, you put a lot of time in down there, and at last minute, it's gone away. I don't know if
So,
the house repairs exceeded the budget. I don't know, no idea.
Now the neighbor at the end of the street is under the assumption that this deep hole is going to take place.
That's very possible.
but again, if she doesn't live there, if you're not using the system because you're not living there, you aren't breaking any rules.
That's right. That's right.
Correct.
So the question is, once someone moves into the house and starts using the toilet without having done this work, then we're going to start sending letters out.
We should send it out a reminder so that when we go, if we have to go to court, to say, look at this person knew it and they did it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree. Let's send out the letter.
Well, Lee thing triggered it, and that he was told by her engineer that it was canceled, that he's not going to do it. So it's no longer. It's not like the neighbor saying, "Gee, I heard this." This is not. This is first person stuff, not third person.
Right. But again, if we can just get a quick confirmation from her engineer about the conversation and the date range.
Yeah, I'd get it. Can you get this in writing from Al Weiss, Lee?
Or at least have Colleen talk to Alan and say, Alan, this is what Lee understands. And we'll look really stupid if Alan says, oh, no. The problem was that it didn't work with Charlie's schedule and the owner's schedule, and we're just going to move it a month. Then we'll look stupid.
Right.
And Colleen can just verify it, then Colleen can put it in the record.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. That's
you want to do it before you send the letter.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Don't send a letter until you know that the facts in it are true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Worst comes to worst, I could go out there and witness it if you get into a real jam.
Yeah, it was a last minute weekend thing, and I didn't think about much going into it, but then I woke up at one night saying I can't do Ken Lane because of the two parties involved,
Right.
and I reminded Alan. Matter of fact, I texted him Sunday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning to discuss this, and that's when he was going to get a hold of Fairleigh Committee or somebody else to act as the witness, and then a little while later it was a cancellation. But yeah, Dick's point is valid. If Colleen can check with Alan, then we'll all be on the same page.
Okay, the next thing we have is the PHE intermunicipal agreement for the shared services with Northampton and the other. That has got to be signed by June 30th. It requires the signature of, I think it's the chairman of the Board of Health and the select board. Are we, so what? It looks like I went through it again tonight. It looks like there's no money involved. We can back out when we want, and that the thing goes away either in 25 years or when the grant disappears. And my feeling is that it's probably time for us to sign it. But if we vote for that, then Colleen would have to get in touch with Chris Martin and see if we can get that done. So the first thing is, are we going to do it? Lee and Bill? I don't think we can avoid it.
Well, it sounds like we cannot avoid it, but it also sounds like we have the right of refusal going forward. If something changes.
And on top of that, from what I can see, is our right to ask for them to do the service that we want. We can or we cannot use them. We don't have to use them for all the services. We don't have to. We can use them for all. We can do kind of what we want.
That's fine.
That was my.
So is that a yes? Do you want me to, want me to
Oh, we haven't
sign
done
for
it
you,
yet.
Dick? Oh, you haven't done, okay.
That's a yes for me. But
Okay, it's a yes for,
what about Bill and Lee? What are you thinking? Are you still with us, Bill?
Yeah, I am right here, Dick. Yeah, like you say, you can opt out of it at any time, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think we have a safety net on this thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Colleen, so we'll do it. So you guys authorizing me to sign this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Colleen, so you'll have to, if you get in touch with Chris Martin, and I'll try to get in touch with him too. But we'll start with you, see if he just says, okay, I'll sign it, then.
okay, and are you, do you want me, are you gonna sign it? You want me to sign
I'll
it? for
sign
you?
it. I'll come in and sign it.
You'll come in and sign it, okay. And then I'll talk to Chris. Oh yeah, Chris, I think he is going on vacation. So yeah, I'll have to talk to him about signing that. Okay.
Okay, so we do that. The next one is, we've got, actually, I got a call from Alan Catawat on 125 Maximilian Drive for a garage. And he wanted to know what we are going to require of the garage and for septic system. Now the garage, and when I talked to Alan, I said, Alan, that used to be a house with a garage under it. And he says, oh no, it's changed now. It's just a garage. Well, he sent us drawings, And the garage is, I think, 28 by 56. So it's a big dwelling. When you look at, or a big building. When you look at it, it sure looks like a house with a two-car garage built into it. When you look at
Was-
the floor plan, it's got a two-bay garage, nice bathroom with a shower in it and a vanity. Who Alan says, oh, it's just to wash their hands and go to the bathroom. And it's also got a long room that goes across the whole building, and then a room that occupies the other half of the width where the toilet is. So what I said, and I asked Colleen, I said, we ought to look, there's no foundation, it's a slab with frost wall. But I asked Colleen if she could get the plumbing drawings and the electrical drawings and try to find out if what they're doing is putting all the plumbing in to put the kitchen in and I said to Colleen, I said, and Alan, I said, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you can call it anything else. It's probably a duck. And
So this is the house at the end of the street on the left before the cul-de-sac, correct?
right.
Yeah. Yeah, they went in, that, that's an ADU project, okay. That's the whole thing that the governor's pushing for is two dwelling units per property. And again, the zoning and planning people are gonna be dealing with that over the next year. That's kind of what's going on.
The question is what Alan was looking for, and we don't have anything from them other than they're looking for a statement from us saying, what are we going to need for a septic system? And maybe we just say we're not going to do it this week. It didn't come in on time to get on our agenda, and we don't have the electrical and the plumbing drawings to determine if they're in the future going to turn it into a house. Maybe that's the way we handle it. What are your thoughts, Lee and Bill?
How many square feet is this unit, Dick?
Altogether, it comes under, they redesigned it so it's less than the 1500 that was going to trigger something else, but it's a nominal 1200 or 1300, 1400, something like that. 28 by 56, so it's probably just under the 1500.
Okay, does it look like it might have two bedrooms?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so clearly it's gonna have to have its own leach field. Unless they do what they did at the end of Phillips Circle with Miles, the PA, his house, he's got the mother's apartment in that house. I think the board allowed him to put in a separate septic tank and feed into a common leach field.
Could be a thing if they did it, but once he does this, he's definitely going to go over the nitrogen loading
Yeah,
on this property.
yeah, what's that, a 1 acre lot?
With 5 or 6 bedrooms.
Yeah, maybe have Alan come in and talk to us. We'll have to chat with him about this. We'll figure it out.
When he talked to me, he said, "Oh, I'm just a builder. I don't know what they're going to do if they're going to cheat later on." But my feeling is if it's a slab and there's no plumbing underneath the slab, if there's plumbing underneath the slab, then you really know they're going to, as soon as they build it, they're going to be cheating on it. But there's full drawings here, so we haven't been asked for anything. Maybe we just get the drawings and see what we're looking at. Lee, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we get drawings, and I know Alan's the builder. So this doesn't really matter whether it's considered a commercial endeavor or not in a residential street. But that's, again, they're gonna tell us. So, and Alan can, and you know, you can go a lot of directions here. Alan is the builder. If he does something and the owner does something different in 3 or 6 months, Alan has nothing to do with it. I guess if we control the size and have a discussion about the potential number of bedrooms on that piece of property in that leach field. And again, as you guys point out, the nitrogen loading, all that stuff's got to come into play.
Yeah.
Dick, how far physically is the accessory dwelling from the main dwelling? How many feet separation?
I would be guessing. So my guess is it's 50, 75 feet,
Okay,
but it might be smaller because the frontage is probably not more than 200
yeah,
feet.
yeah. See, that's a difference with Miles because his house, the accessory dwelling is actually attached to the main dwelling.
It's one building, but
Yeah,
it was
which,
designed for it. They redid
right,
and he's got a lot of acreage.
right, that's right. And again, there's a couple of subtleties in the way the building code's written to actually make that less obtrusive than having two distinct dwelling units on the same parcel, which we have here. But the way things are shaking out in Boston in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of second buildings going up on building lots around the state with the housing crisis. So this will not be the only time we deal with this.
We end up again. Let's find out, Colleen, what the electrical and the plumbing looks like. And I think Bill, short of that, the easy way is to say those are 2 bedrooms that are being added to that property. And your system has to be designed to handle 2 bedrooms, and you need a separate tank. And if we have to deal with the nitrogen, we deal with the nitrogen, and we'll deal with the leach field the way it is. And if it's not a separate dwelling unit, then we probably don't have to worry about deeding because it's not a dwelling unit.
Yeah. Now he's going to be careful with his well. Now the other thing is for well, will the existing well serve both dwelling units?
Well, it's not a second, right now, he's not calling it a second dwelling unit.
But it's going to have water supply in it.
It is, but it's not a dwelling unit because it doesn't have a kitchen.
But the point is, if they put in a second leach field, got to be real careful with the geometry on that lot. If it's a 1 acre lot and you got 2 leach fields and a well, watch out.
Yeah, I think the approach still is the same thing that we did up at the church on Taylor Street. That one had 2 septic tanks and 1 big leach field
Okay,
that they were deeded together.
so I'm guessing
That would be the logical one.
Yeah, I'm guessing the new leach field on this lot's going to be very close to the other leach field. They'll be probably 10 feet apart or something.
So
Okay.
we don't have anything hard in before us, but if Alan's asking for something, we're going to need, the board is talking right now, is we're definitely going to need something much different than a pipe running from his toilet to the existing septic tank. Sounds like we said that. Is that correct, Bill and Lee?
Yes.
Well, again, I haven't seen let's look at the plumbing diagram. Let's look at the plumbing drawings and then we'll make that assessment.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything until we see the plumbing drawings.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. But if Alan's just thinking, the board is not talking right now of just saying, hey, just put a pipe into the bottom of that toilet and run it over to the existing septic tank and you're all set. We're not saying that at all.
Not at this time, but let's
Right.
review the plumbing drawings. That's right.
Right. Okay, so that's done. We had a couple other things. I'm running where I'm sitting. I used the outlet for the lamp in this room for my computer. And I'm running, the sun is going down on me and it's getting dark in here and I can't read my notes. But I've got two things that we need to be dealing with. One is the Board of Health regulations and the other is Dollar General floor base. And my concern is I'm going to run out of light before we do this stuff.
But I recommend we defer this to next time.
Okay.
Yeah, let's defer it and put those two things maybe up the list of to do.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
deal with them early next time.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Then let us
Okay.
do that. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Okay, Dick. Thank you, Lee, Colleen.
All right.
Good to see
Good night.
everyone.
Okay, yep, you too.
Thank you.
Good night.